So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a 9-card spread using Lenormand cards. And then I'm going to show you how to get more specific so that you can have more answers for your client with a 5-card spread. Stay tuned. All right, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Under the Roses for my Lenormand cards. These cards are excellent because they're smaller and you can see all 9 cards whenever I show you on this recording. Now, I did not realize, but Joe Jonas and Sophia Turner are separating, okay? And remember, I always tell you that I always need somebody that I need to read for that's maybe a celebrity. So because it gives it so the energy is so much better when I demonstrate for you. And remember, this is for educational purposes only. So it's going to be concerning. I think what I'm going to do, and I have one of either Joe or Sophia to choose from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go with Joe. I don't know why I'm being drawn to him. So we're going to go ahead and do a 9-card spread for him. Now, most of the times, whenever I do have a client that's in front of me, I'll always ask them, okay, in what area do you really want for me to look at? What area in your life do you want me to put our questions? Because with Lenormand cards, you have to have a specific question. So I always say, okay, relationship. Do you want to know more about a relationship, about a career, about finances, about legal, about health, or also about spirituality? And sometimes they'll just say, I just want a general reading. So that's what we're going to do here first. Is this really helps you whenever you get those that are clients that are not for sure, I don't really have a question. I think things are going well. I want to see what I need help with. And I love that because it really opens it up. So we're going to do a 9-card spread, just a general reading for Joe. So the first thing I do is I get my cards. And of course, I always ask the question, what general question is, what can we tell Joe, or how can we guide Joe in the next 3 months that will help him and live in light? And so then I get all the energy going. And with the 9-card spread, I do not look at the cards like at the 5-card spread, and I'll show you in just a minute. So there are different ways that you can do that. But that whenever I'm kind of moving around, I've already shuffled them, is I'm getting my energy and my intention on them, okay? So when you feel ready, you always know I'm ready to go ahead and do the reading. So let's go ahead and do it. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, we have the owls. And so we're going to do 3 rows of 3. Interesting, interesting. Okay. So what I always look at first before I explain to the client what all this is the one in the middle is the one that really activates the energy in this reading. So the lilies. And what I'm really looking at for Joe is the lilies can be your virtues, things that you live by, your true self, okay? And your purity. So that's what I'm really being pulled for. There's several different definitions of that, but it depends on where you want to go with this. So I always, and I'm not going to do the past, present, or future because I want to kind of speed up the reading. So we're going to do this row going across here. Okay, we're going to look at the concern. Now the owls, in this deck, you can have owls or you can have birds. Okay, I don't know why, I just like the owls, but in this case, because whenever I look at this crossroads, he's got some decisions that he has to make. Okay, and there's plenty of opportunities for him to make this. Okay, so for the owls, what I really think of, it's a lot of times birds will be like chaos, there's a lot of turmoil going on, a lot of, chit-chatting. And there could be, especially since he's a celebrity and everybody knows, he's getting separated. But I really feel like, you know what? He needs to go and talk to somebody about what direction he needs to go to. Okay. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for him, lots of choices that he's going to have to make. So he may have to go to someone who is wise that can really help him in these decisions making. Okay. So now let's go to the second row, and we're going to go across this. We're going to look at the moon, the lilies, and the stork. Okay. This is kind of the situation, that we're looking at. All right. So whenever you're looking at the moon, it's almost like your spirituality, but in this case, I'm really thinking about different phases, okay? Different phases that he's going through in his life right now. And because these phases are going on, and you know how moons really make you sensitive and make you crazy, because especially a full moon, right? So, because of the situation that's going on with him, he's got to remember his virtues. That's what he needs to go back on, because the moon will really get that again. You're not really thinking clearly, and you're just like, very emotional. And of course, there's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of changes in his life. So, whenever you look at the moon, he's going to be going through so many different phases that are going to make him a little sensitive. Okay. All right. So then looking at the bottom row, okay, we have the undercurrent. This is the awareness. Okay. And of course, we have the grave right here. So we're going to be looking at the stars, the grave, and the sun. Okay. And it's very interesting because when you look at this, okay, it is in the pathway for this relationship to end. It is in the stars. Okay. It they were really good to be with. What he and Sophia, the relationship was fantastic, and they learned a lot from each other. And of course they had children, so it was great. But of course now it's coming to an end. But of course, you know what, sometimes endings will bring you such more joy depending upon what's going on, because we don't know the ins and outs of the situation. But because of this transitioning that's going on and the death of the relationship, he's able going to find some enjoyment, okay, towards the end. It will be in the stars. It will affect his joy in the very beginning, but I think that in the end, he will be able to find the joy in life once again, okay? But because of this being first, it is going to kind of like make the joy not very joyful in his life right now, but it will get better. Okay. Now, then what I do is I jump, and I always like to remove these cards because it always makes it so much better to get the general reading, okay, of the cards. And so I'm going to remove these. It just kind of helps me focus a little bit better. So this is like the diamond, the summary of the situation. So we have the fish, we have the moon, we have the grave, we have the stork. Okay. So this is definitely, it's not really telling us anything different than we know, but right here, it's just saying that he's got lots of opportunities that he really has to consider because of this transitioning. Okay. The moon, the different phases in his life that he's going through, the grave, which is the end of something, and then it's going to move into a transition. Okay. And so it just kind of goes around and around. So it really means that he needs to look at his virtues and really be who he is and really speak his truth during this time, because with his emotions going all over the place, that's going to be what's really important. So really looking at this, okay, and I know we were looking at all of the opportunities, and one question that you can think of that comes out of this reading, and the one thing that I'm thinking of is what opportunities are going to come out of this situation. Okay, this is going to be the death of this relationship, but what opportunities is he going to perceive? Okay, so I'm going to get more specific, and so I've decided to change cards just so because they're shuffled. I like using different decks, okay? But this is the Crimson Mystic Lenormand deck that I developed. And so what we're going to do, we're going to do a 5-card reading. And remember, the question is, what opportunities does Joe need to look at as he's going through this transition in his life, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and activate the fish. The fish I'm really being drawn with. That can mean finances as well, but also opportunities. There's lots of opportunities. So Let's go ahead and do that. So whenever I activate the card, that means that's the card I'm going to look for. And the card surrounding that main card will definitely tell us the reading, okay? All right. All right. Everybody does a 5-card reading different. I like to, again, activate the significator card, which is the fish, and then see what's around that, okay? Oh, there's the fish. And it's so interesting when there's a consistency, you know that it's a good reading, okay? So here we have the crossroads again, and that was in his other, and the stars. Oh my goodness. Okay, and then I get 2 on the other side that are really next door to this card, okay? Interesting. All right. So I love it. I love it. So okay, so let's look at the different meanings that we get, and it looks like it's very consistent from the other reading as well. So, whenever we look at the whip right here, whip can mean like, destruction, that you've been hurt through something. And then you have the book, okay? And the book can be something mysterious or it can be education purposes. Now, what it looks like is the things that he has been learning in his life currently, okay? Has very much been abusive. Okay. It's knocked him off, off his butt, put it that way. Okay. It really has knocked him for a loop. So he's really having to recover from this. And so that he can look at the opportunities again, he's got to put his virtues into play and know what he really wants. The stars is kind of like whatever you wish for, right? And so, what he really needs to look at is really looking at the opportunities that are possible for him, okay? What he could do next. And it may be something that he didn't even look at, right? And so, the crossroads, of course, is making the different decisions, but the different decisions are going to cause him a little bit of trouble. But then, when we look right here, okay, so the lessons that he has learned so far about all his choices that he has made have been kind of abusive. So it's hard for him to wish for anything else. Then when we look, and this is called the mirroring, okay? So we're just getting more meaning to that. So right here, so that he can make a good choice, he needs to find out knowledge, find out some information before he moves forward. And I know that in the other reading, it's like he needs to find somebody wise that can help him. And that's where this knowledge is coming from. Okay. So that kind of dives deeper into these opportunities, how he needs to go about looking at these opportunities. So he may need someone that can help him, and he may have to go back to school or learn a new talent to be able to get where he wants to go to next. But as I always tell our clients, we're always learning. And if we stop learning, that means that you have given up. So don't give up. Keep that hope alive so that you move forward. And that's what I would tell Joe. Okay. Just keep moving forward, even though some days are going to be harder than the next, and find out what your choices are that you are passionate about. Well, so I hope that you enjoyed that. So, as you can tell, you can take a general reading, especially if someone goes, I don't know what I want, and make it into a 9-card reading spread, and then make more specific questions. And sometimes you can get more specific and get more and more information. So have a great time. Put your detective hat on, basically, is what it is because sometimes our customers need answers and some guidance, and you can lead them. So, again, follow that intuition and be true to yourself.